Hello everyone, welcome to Mastermind. This is part 3 of Membership of Parliament. So this will be very important part in our General Studies paper 2 under Polity section. It will also help us in prelims under Polity section. This is one of the high yielding topics, especially in case of Indian polity. So in order to quickly revise, in the part 1 we have discussed about the qualifications to be a member of Parliament. In the second part we have discussed about disqualification in order to not or lose membership of the parliament. In the third part, here we will be discussing about vacancy of seats or vacating of seats. Again, there are 5 conditions into this. This part is also very important. Now, in case of vacancy of seats, what are the 5 conditions? First one is double membership. First one is double membership. We'll discuss about this in very much detail. Double membership. Second one is again disqualification. Third one is by resigning. Fourth one is absence. And fifth one is other cases which is mentioned by Parliament. First thing which you have to remember is that all of these are mentioned under the Representations of People Act 1951. Now in case of double membership, there are 3 conditions. In case of double membership, there are 3 conditions. So all these are given under Representation of People Act 1951. Representation of People Act 1951. So what is the first condition? The first condition, if a person is elected to Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, both. In case of first condition, it is a person is elected to both houses. Both houses they are elected. Second one, if a seating member is elected to other house, seating member is elected to other house. If a person is elected to same house from 2 places, same house from 2 places. So these are 3 conditions. Now what happens in every particular time is very important for us. In each condition, what happens? Now, if a person is elected to both houses, to Rajya Sabha also and also to Lok Sabha, then that person has 10 days in order to say in which house they want to continue. They are elected to Lok Sabha, they are also elected to Rajya Sabha. In that case, they have 10 days to intimate to which house they will continue, in which house they will continue as member of parliament. Now what happens that after 10 days also, if that person doesn't notify, then the seat in Rajya Sabha becomes vacant. Seat in Rajya Sabha becomes vacant. Now you can ask, why does the seat in Rajya Sabha becomes vacant and not in Lok Sabha? That is, if they are elected to Lok Sabha, then they are elected by people. It is direct election. In case of Rajya Sabha, they are indirectly elected. So this is to give preference to the direct elections. The Lok Sabha is preferred over this. That is, in 10 days, they can say that they want to be member of Rajya Sabha, because by default they lose the membership of Rajya Sabha. This is the first condition. Now is the second condition or the second situation. If a seating member is elected to other house. In this, let us take the first scenario. They are seating member of Lok Sabha and they are elected to Rajya Sabha. They are seating member of Rajya Sabha. They are elected to Lok Sabha. Now what happens in that particular point of a time? Because it is double membership. So if a seating member of one house is also elected to other house, his seat in first house becomes vacant. First seat vacant. Because if that was the preference for them, they would not be fighting for the second seat only in the first place, correct? So if they are member of Lok Sabha and they are elected to Rajya Sabha, then the seat in Lok Sabha becomes vacant. If they are member of Rajya Sabha, they are elected to Lok Sabha, seat in the Rajya Sabha becomes vacant. Now what if they have been elected from 2 seats in same house? 2 seats in same house. For example, a person example ABC stands from, let's say, one place in one district in Karnataka also and one district in Bihar also. Example, one place in Karnataka and one place in Bihar for Lok Sabha. They are elected from both the houses now. They are elected from both the houses. For example, our current Prime Minister, they were also elected from both the houses wherein they stood. Now what happens in that particular point of a time? They have to, if a person is elected to 2 seats in a house, they have to exercise their option. They have to say exercise option. They have to say from which seat they will continue. They have to exercise their option. Otherwise, both seats becomes vacant. If they do not tell that option, then both seat becomes vacant. These are 3 conditions. There is one more important condition. That is, if the person is elected to parliament also, if they are elected to parliament also, and if they are in the state assembly also, if they are elected in the state assembly also, they are elected in the parliament also. Now what happens in that particular point of time? If a person cannot be a member of both parliament and state legislature at the same time, because they cannot be member of parliament also and member of state legislative assembly also same time. If a person is elected like that, his seat in parliament becomes vacant. Or if they have to continue in one particular point, let's say if they have to continue in parliament, then they have 14 days. Then they have 14 days to opt. Then they have 14 days to opt, that they have to resign from one seat within 14 days. So what are the points which we saw? That is, they cannot be member of 2 houses. A person cannot be member from 2 seats. A person cannot be member of 2 assemblies. A person cannot be a member of parliament and member of state legislative assembly at any point of a time. This 10 days and this 14 days, these both are very, very important to remember. These are important points which has been asked a lot of times in the examination. So you can mention over here, in case 10 days if it is Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. 14 days time if it is parliament or state assembly. Both of these points are very, very important. Now the next conditions for vacating of seats are very easy. Second one is disqualification. This we have already discussed in the second part, membership of parliament part 2. We have discussed about disqualification. We have seen different types of disqualification which is mentioned in the constitution also, and disqualification which is given in the Representation of People Act 1951, which is given by the parliament also. We have seen all 8 conditions which is given over here and all 4 to 5 conditions which is given in the constitution. If on any of those points, if any of those points are fulfilled, then that person stands disqualified. Then when they are disqualified, there is vacancy of the seat. Third one, if they give resignation, if they resign from that particular post, then that seat becomes vacant. Here, in case of double membership also, we are seeing that when the choice is made, one seat becomes vacant. Correct? One seat becomes vacant. In case of resignation, if they have to resign from, let's say, Rajya Sabha, they have to write a resignation to Chairman of Rajya Sabha. If they are to resign from Lok Sabha, then they have to write to Speaker of Lok Sabha. Now, very important point under this is that as soon as they write it to the chairperson or speaker, if it is accepted, then there is vacancy. Now, chairman or speaker may not accept the resignation also. They may not accept the resignation also. At that point of a time, the seat is not vacant yet. Fourth one is in case of absence. This This is also very, very important condition, because if a person is elected to Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha, but they continue to be absent, for a period of 60 days from the meeting, from the regular meeting of Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha, if they are absent for 60 days without giving letter or without taking permission, we'll write it as without permission, then that seat also becomes vacant, then they will be removed. Now in case of this 60 days, if the house is prorogued or if the house is adjourned, that is not taken into account. It is on their own thing that they will be absent for 60 days. In that case, the seat will fall vacant. Fifth condition is other cases, which has given. Other cases. So 4 cases we have discussed already. Fifth one is other cases. Now what are the other cases? These cases we have seen during the disqualification itself. During the disqualification points itself, we have seen. What are the other cases? First case is their election is done and they have come to the seat already. They are present in the seat already from, let's say, XYZ constituency. And after that, their election is declared void. If the election is declared void or illegal, at that point of a time, they have to be disqualified and the seat falls vacant. That is the first condition. If that person is expelled from house, the seat becomes vacant. If the sitting member is elected for the post of president or vice president, that seat becomes vacant. Fourth condition, if that person is appointed as a governor of a state, that seat will become vacant. Okay, so these are very, very important conditions. These are also mentioned in Representation of People Act of 1951. So very, very important to understand how a seat in parliament falls vacant. So I hope you have understood about this. In the next part, we'll finish the membership of parliament completely, because in the next part, we'll discuss in detail about oath or affirmation, and we'll discuss about salaries and allowances in one video only, and we will finish off with the membership of parliament. So this is part of the chapter called as parliament only, in which the membership of parliament is again one part. So in this we have discussed 4 parts, which including the next part, the complete membership will finish. Later on we'll start discussing about speaker, deputy speaker, then we have chairman, then we have the different kinds of motion, etc. So I hope you have understood things from this particular video. I'll see you soon in the next one.